welcome to Quantum Muse Books. I'm Patrick Leclerc,
I'm Raymond Coulomb.
and we're a couple of the authors through Quantum Muse Books. And tonight we want to talk about
Weapons.
weapons and their use in writing.
Yeah, well, weapons are always a big deal in writing because, well, conflict. It's all about conflict, and conflict's a lot more fun with weapons.
Yeah.
At least, that's been my experience. And as a writer, I go nuts reading other people's stories when, a weapon may be a key part of what this character does, and the author, unfortunately, has no idea what the weapon does. Firearms, of course, are one of the biggest boo-boos in the whole weapon situation. You get the, someone with a revolver, and they're trying to change magazines in a revolver.
Put a silencer on it.
And yeah, they do all kinds of stupid stuff. And if you don't know what a gun's supposed to do, either learn, which would be the easy way. But if you're a normal writer and you're lazy,
I always said it's better to be vague than be wrong.
yeah,
If your character gets mugged if a guy pulls a gun, that's fine. Everybody understands that. Don't have your guy pull a Smith & Wesson 75 caliber. Don't make stuff up, because you'll be wrong and somebody will know it.
yeah, and believe me, nothing like weapons fans to go, burn,
Exactly. Don't drop the magazine on your revolver. Don't have a 7-shot 6-shooter.
And the thing is, if your character, if you don't, as a writer, if you don't know what your anything about guns, that's fine as long as your character doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
It's like, the man pulled a gun on me. It was black and shiny and had a big hole, and it was pointing right at me. Well, that's okay, Yeah, I don't mind that. It doesn't drop me out of the story.
Again, like I said, and just don't be wrong.
Yeah.
And but you have less excuse to be wrong in this day and age, because we all have a supercomputer. Most of us have one in our pocket. You all have internet access. There's no back in the day when you had to go to the library and look something up. All right, I can see that. But now,
well, there's no excuse, but they still do it.
Exactly. But if you're writing a story that takes place in 1930, you don't want people using a weapon that wasn't invented until 1940.
Yeah. Yeah. But moving on, of course, to me, that one of the big ones is handguns. But another one, especially in fantasy, you're talking bows, crossbows, swords, knives. You get people that have never picked up any one of these, has no idea what their capabilities are, and it's kind of embarrassing if you've done a little archery or a little fencing. And Patrick, you've done a fair amount of
a little archery, a little fencing, a little historical European martial arts, which is kind of fencing but bigger, heavier swords and more concussions. So a little bit of everything, and partly because it's fun to hit people, and partly because it does help you understand it. And I feel better writing a fight scene having handled the weapon and knowing a little bit about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not encouraging everybody to be in fights, but if you have, you can always draw on that.
Exactly.
Apparently the two-fisted author is now a cliche, and we're not supposed to do that anymore.
We're not supposed to do a lot of things.
Well, this is true. This is true.
My big argument with that is I'm going to choke the next person that talks about the rate of fire on a bow and arrow. There's no fire. There isn't any. Fire comes from, and firearms comes from when you used fire to make the weapon shoot. If they say fire the bow, I want them throwing it in. I want
you want it
throwing it on the campfire.
You want it to be kindling.
That's firing the bow.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Of course, my pet peeve is knife throwing, but you've gone with the trope, and everybody can hit everything with a thrown knife.
No, I don't think everybody can hit everything with a thrown knife, but I think for characters, it's a staple of pulp fantasy.
And it is totally fantasy.
If you read Conan or Fritz or Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser or any of the pulps, you have these daring rogues throwing daggers at people, and I don't have a problem with
I
Red
just
Mouser hitting a guy in the eye with a thrown dagger at 50 paces because that's the story.
that's the story, but man,
It's like Robin Hood splitting arrows. You gotta.
I'm sorry,
you
it's
gotta-
fantasy. It is so fantasy.
All right.
I don't.
I don't mind.
It drops me out of the story after. I go, okay, I understand it. It's the trope. It's what people do. It's got a long and sordid history, but I don't know. It's kind of silly. Maybe I've spent too many times throwing blades.
Yeah.
You know,
And like I said, I understand the objection because
it's hard.
it's not a thing that should be routine. But again, like I said, I'm willing to.
Oh, and the thing that really drives me nuts, they've got one knife, and they throw it.
Yeah.
The first thing they've done is they've thrown away their weapon.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to see some story where someone throws a knife, they miss terribly, and now they're disarmed.
Oh yeah. Well,
You know, that's what I'm going to write.
yeah, you should.
I should.
Yeah. So we can strap you down to a table and make you write something like that.
Okay, yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, so yeah, to wrap up, it's the bullets going through things. That's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
There's a real lack of understanding about what is and is not safe to hide behind.
Oh, you mean like the 2 layers of sheetrock?
Exactly. Interior sheetrock walls will not stop a bullet. A car door generally won't stop a bullet.
No, you need like the engine block.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing that, and we've all been kind of, I guess, I don't know if it comes from movies or television, but we see people, they throw themselves behind a couch.
Although, I forget the story, but someone had a Kevlar couch.
All right.
You know, if you're going to throw yourself behind a couch, make sure it's bulletproof.
Yeah. That, or the people who get shot in the vest and they'll open their shirt and the bullets will fall out of the vest.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of silliness with it. This is America. Go to a gun range. You
This
can't
is
swing
true.
a cat without hitting a gun range. Just go.
Just go. Yeah.
Spend 20 minutes.
And it's
Learn
fun.
what it sounds like, what it feels like, what it smells like. Learn how hard it is to hit something that's 50 feet away from you.
Oh, that's another thing that would kill me is there'd be somebody, 1,000 feet down the beach and someone pulls out a stub-nose 38 and
Yeah.
shoots them in the head,
Yeah.
which could happen 1 in a million times.
But again, it's like
It's like throwing knives.
yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know. But yeah, if you're going to write with conflict and you're going to write with weapons, I mean, I spent time studying staff fighting, and that's something I can draw on because,
The staff is recovering nicely. Most of them are back to work.
oh,
And we're looking for interns, and we've told Ray not to fight the staff anymore.
then turns out you're supposed to use a large stick. How was I to know? But seriously, folks, do we do seriously? No, we don't.
We don't do seriously.
So, yeah, just be aware if you're using a weapon in conflict, just to know something about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to know everything, but you have to know something.
And like we said, in this day and age, with YouTube, with Wikipedia, with just the vast amount of information that's out there, it's not that hard.
And if you don't know it, your reader certainly will.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Somebody will know.
Yeah,
That's
you'll-
the thing, especially if you pull out, if you have a caliber that didn't exist, or you get the number of rounds a weapon holds wrong, or the model number's wrong.
Yeah,
Gun
they're real
guys,
nuts.
And yeah, somebody will spot it.
You're messing with someone's religion there.
Exactly.
So I suppose that wraps up weapons
Yeah.
for now.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So until next time.
And until next time.
Thanks for tuning in. You should subscribe to our channel because we know a lot about weapons, and yeah, we'll find you.
Yeah, we'll
All right.
find you.